All right, here we go, BT. It was an eventful weekend for the Ravens. First, Lamar Jackson missed time with a groin injury, and then all-pro safety Earl Thomas got into a fight with a teammate after Thomas blew a coverage. The Ravens sent Thomas home, and player leadership told the team they didn't want Thomas around anymore, prompting the team to cut Thomas and seek to recoup his record contract.
Over $10 million, by the way. Keep going.
That's a lot. Inbounds or out of bounds, BT? The Ravens' Super Bowl hopes were significantly damaged by the released Thomas.
Out of bounds. Hard out of bounds. And by the way, just so everybody who might not know what's going on with Lamar Jackson, he's back at practice today. So he had the soft tissue groin issue, but he looks like he's fine. Wouldn't worry about that. Listen, I applaud the Ravens for a couple of things here. Primarily to trust their player leadership division. Like that is emblematic of an incredibly well-run franchise where you've got multiple voices who have the pulse of the locker room, and they come together and they say, listen, this guy's he's not what we're about. He's not about the Ravens way. And this is not the first time that he's had some issues. He had another fight. He has reportedly been late, I think more so late than unexpected. I don't think he ever didn't show up, but I think he had a few. Well, I know he was late for a couple things. And over time, he's just kind of thought to, from a football point of view, freelance and get away from the team concept here. So, see, the Ravens defense, unlike years past where they always had like a huge superstar name or two, most recently T. Suggs, of course, Ray Lewis, guys like that. This is more of a collection of guys who work in tandem, jointly, have each other's backs, whose skills complement each other really well. And that's you can't have it. If you have one guy who, it's not even like he's a lifelong Raven, he's been here a minute, and he's still trying to color outside the lines, you got to go. And the fact that they empower their players to have that voice and then listen to those players tells you a lot about the Ravens and those players that went to management. Out of bounds, no doubt.
The Nets were swept out of the playoffs by the Raptors, and now the focus turns to their coaching search. Some believe interim head coach Jacques Vaughn could get the full-time gig, but a report from The Athletic says that Kevin Durant wants the team to pursue Spurs legend Greg Popovich, who signed a 3-year extension before the season, and the two have a, quote, tremendous mutual respect, end quote. Inbounds or out of bounds, BT? It would be the right move for Pop's legacy to leave the Spurs and take over the Nets.
I know what Sanders getting at. Like, if you jump ship and you go to the Nets for a couple of years, win or lose, it would be further enhanced if he wins. But, if it's not quite the same, or, Durant and Kyrie Irving opt out of that contract and he's kind of still stuck there for a minute without him, or Kyrie's always hurt, or whatever it might be. But I don't think anything. Listen, Greg Popovich has done so much on the bench as a coach that no matter what happens, his legacy is intact. He's one of the greatest coaches of all time, period. You only can move up that ladder, and quite frankly, I'm not so sure how many slots there are to go. You look at the NFL, it's like, all right, Belichick and Lombardi. And then you've got like a bunch of like Tom Landry, Bill Parcells, Chuck Noll. You've got a lot of others in the mix there, but those are the two that are largely accepted. You get to the NBA, you got Red Auerbach, you've got obviously Pat Riley, you've got Phil Jackson, you've got Popovich. I don't know, even if he goes to the net, how many more slots can he jump up? I'm just going to go back to that. Maybe, who is truly positioned in front of Popovich right now, historically, as a better coach? I think Phil's legacy was tarnished because he was a clown show running the Knicks and was an absentee GM. He just wasn't around. And he did some ridiculously dumb things. And he just seemed disengaged. So Knicks fans lament that move and almost loathe him in the basketball sense, because we feel like he didn't really show up to work hard. And he checked out. And he was kind of bi-coastal, had that thing going on with Jeannie. They broke up, whatever. Yeah, Pop is one of the best coaches of all time. So this will do even a negative run with the Nets, and the Nets should do everything they can to get him. Wouldn't impact it one bit. He's one of the best ever.
The defending World Series champion Nationals are off to a disappointing start at just 11-14, though they actually had that same exact record at this point last year before going on their title run. To make matters even worse, the team lost starter Steven Strasburg for the season after needing surgery for carpal tunnel.
I mean, and by the way, I'm not here to make light of carpal tunnel, but I don't know. Watch, I'm going to get carpal tunnel now with all my other injuries. But carpal tunnel? Go ahead. I'm sure it's a lot worse than it sounds, and I know you keep banging the keyboard. I get it, but just it doesn't seem like an injury befitting of a major league start, does it? Am I missing something?
No, I found it odd as well, but I don't want that karma coming back.
No,
to me.
not at all. No, not at all. Not at all.
All right, so then 2009 number 1 overall pick has made 3 All-Star teams, finished in the top 5 for Cy Young voting twice,
Yep.
and has a career record of 112-59 with a 3.19 ERA during his injury-plagued 11-year career.
Yep.
So inbounds or out of bounds, BT, Steven Strasburg has been a disappointment on the mound after being selected number 1 overall.
I'm going to answer this differently than the Nationals would answer this. They would say out of bounds because we got the championship out of that, and he was a big part of it. I'm going to say inbounds, though. I remember watching this kid pitch at San Diego State. Like, that was that pre-MLB Network? I believe it was. I believe it was like a year or two before. Like, I feel like SportsCenter showed his starts at San Diego State. I don't recollect watching him on MLB. Maybe I have the years off a little bit, but I think it was more SportsCenter, where they really followed him. And this guy's throwing 101, 102, long, lean, explosive body, whippy action with the arm. Now, the championship aside, it's great, but you tell me as many times he's finished in the top 5 or top 3. He's got no Cy Youngs, all right? And he's only been an All-Star. And to me, this is important. Less than 30% of the time. He's in year 11. He's been an All-Star 3 times. So that's, 20-something%. It's not what you sign up for. I'm not talking about, you don't need 5 Cy Youngs like DeGrom's going to probably have. But can you pitch on 6 or 7 All-Star teams? My answer is inbounds. This guy as a young player, as a young man, was touted as like a Bryce Harper as a pitcher, as a LeBron James, as a basketball player. Like, he has fallen short. And I know injuries have been part of it, but he's fallen short. Inbounds. Fallen short. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell to be notified when we drop fresh content.